Yo, first of all, I can't believe I said 6 months. Y'all did it in 6 weeks. That work ethic is something that you rarely see in an artist. Tell me what decided to, or what made y'all decide to take that to heart and seriously do it.
You want to go fresh or?
Man, I'm gonna just tell you, is this man right here, about Hice, man. His work ethic is something crazy, and just by the experience with BET and how he just took that, and just did that from the muscle. He didn't know what to expect. Right. So it's just like that hunger is like contagious. So when he hit me up, as soon as he landed, he hit me up freshman to get on this EP. So right. We just started hitting the ground running on that one.
Yeah, I gotta say, man, like, for those who don't know how this all came about, the three of us did a competition with in conjunction with BET and Nissan. I had a contest, a production contest, and there were thousands of submissions, and myself and a few others, respectively from the companies, got together, judged all the production, and we had a list of our top 50, then he got down to our top 40, 30, 10, then our top 5, and then, we had our 3 finalists. All 3 finalists got the opportunity to come out to New York, sit with me personally, a little bit of a quick mini mentorship session, and to record in the studio. And the featured MC on the tracks from all 3 producers was Navelle Hice. All 3 contestants brought their A game. The production was great from every angle. They made some really solid music. Navelle definitely did his thing on all 3. But something about Fresh's contribution and the way it merged with what Navelle was doing just stood out so sharply. Like all 3 pieces were great, but there was something about that one that just caught my ear. Like as soon as he stepped in the booth, I was like, oh, it's not just that he's a good MC or that he's a good producer. There's a synergy here that we didn't see with the other 2, just in terms of the way things gelled so quickly. And that's why Fresh ended up winning the contest. But also, what led me to say, to be honest, kind of flippantly, I was kind of just like, I wasn't saying it just to say it, but I didn't expect it to be taken to heart the way it was. I was like, yo, y'all should just go ahead and do a record together. Like do an EP, do an album, form a duo, and I'll see y'all later. And then all of a sudden I get I see on Instagram, just told us to do this, So he said, I'll see you in 6 months. And we did it in 6 weeks. And I had no idea what was going on. So that's what led us here. Let's just preface it. I want to say I'm super proud of them. I'm happy for them. I'm honored that the EP is named after me. It's always good to see your advice and your ideas actually come to fruition. So again, I'm just super proud of y'all. I'm happy for you, man.
All right, appreciate it.
I appreciate that, man. You don't even know, man. Sensei, the blessing. Come on, man. This is fuel, man.
It was like, I know one reason what made me take it serious was just out of honor and respect, man. Like even down to the title. Like when we walked out of the engineer room that day, I remember the thing I said to Fresh was like, "Yo, we should name it Just Blaze Made Us Do It." Like that's the first thing that dropped in my spirit. So looking at the title, like, yeah, it's super long, but we could still finesse it and play with it.
Right.
So, doing that, to me, it was like us showing a sign of just paying homage, where it's like, without you giving us that comment, like walking into the studio that day when I heard Fresh beat, like that was my biggest challenge. Like the other 2 came instantly, but with his beat, like I had no clue how the rapper was supposed to come off on there. And so you said that showed me, like, as an artist, I realized I got to step outside of my own ears and sound and take, definitely a legend, a GOAT, take some advice where, I believe you can hear things that I can't hear. So without you giving us that assignment, like I I don't think we would have even came together and even heard what you heard at that moment. So once we start working and he start, you know, it was still that challenge. He was sending me joints. I'm trying to skip them. Like, yeah, we're going to move on to the next one. Nah, don't forget about that one track. And once it all came together, like that chemistry, the vibe, even down on a personal level, like I've been married 6 years, you know, I got a kid, I got a son, he got a fiance who's pregnant. So it's like even connected fatherhood and spiritually. So just you making that connection to us was super appreciated. That it's like, if we never ran into Just Blaze again, that was enough for me. We're satisfied with that. And so,
you know, it's all good. And really, you know, you touched on something very important, you know, being able to gel outside of music, right? Like one of the things that I always say, and I live by this and I die by this, when it comes to this music thing and these collaborative efforts that we take on. You can have a great producer, a great engineer, a great artist, a great songwriter. Just because you put them all in a room together doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to make a great record. And many times, you know, when you find that connection with somebody, even if it's by accident, you know, like you said, I made that comment and that's what got your wheels turning, right? And then you actually sit with that person outside of music and you just have a personal vibe. To me, that's when the magic happens. You know what I mean? Like, and it can happen very quickly. You know, like there's records that I've done where potentially they should have been amazing, but me and the artist never really clicked, or me and the writer never really clicked. So they're cool. You know what I mean? But like a lot of my classic records really came about. I mean, obviously there's talent on both sides, but there was just a good energy in the room. And that's beyond the most important thing. You know what I mean? Like I always tell people, music business is, you know, especially in the studio, is about 35 to 40% talent, and the rest is psychology. You know? And I don't mean psychology from an analytical standpoint. I mean more so like, does this person's brain click with this person's brain? Psychologically, do they have good energy amongst each other? You know, and when you get in sync like that, again, that's when the magic happens.
I did want to ask, what's your favorite track from the project?
Let me go back and look at my phone. Hold up. No, to be honest, it was this one.
That's the one.
You know what it was? What got me? It was a couple of things. The chords. I'm a sucker for chords, right?
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for. Stop this. I'm a sucker for really beautiful things juxtaposed on top of really hard things, right? And musically speaking, like, so you get like, this is actually what kind of initially attracted me to the Nissan BET joint. The chords were real pretty, right? And you had all this, you know, for lack of a better words, these sweet sounding chimes, the dum, 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 dum. But then the drums was like boom, 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 boom. The drums sound like, on one hand it sounds like I'm floating in space, right? On the other hand it's like boom, 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 boom. Yeah. That's why I played that bass line on it. As soon as I heard it, I was like, wait a minute, boom, 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 boom. I'm supposed to try to play it right now. But yeah, so when I heard, I remember when my joint is shut. It's I actually need to change this. My iPhone, my iTunes is always set to shuffle, so I didn't hear that song first. Because I don't know if that's the first song on it. Yeah. So I might have heard like one of the other ones. I was like, oh, cool, I'm listening to it. And then when that one started, and me not realizing it was the intro, I said to myself, why didn't they put this one first? Then I took the phone and I was like, oh, it is the first one. All right.
See, I told you, Hice. I told you. I told him it was the intro, but he was like, nah, man, this ain't the intro.
That I least expect. I knew it was.
The way that it starts out, it's almost like it could be like like a modern R&B record, or you know, like it's a beautiful sounding, like your choice of sounds that you use when playing it. The textures of the sounds just felt very ethereal, and again, like very floaty. But then the drums come in, and it goes a whole, you know, it's still the same music, but the drums that you added just gave it a whole different feeling. And then the way you were in pocket, Navelle, the way you were in pocket, what the drums was doing.
Right.
Again, it was very reminiscent of that day in the studio, because with the other ones, I felt like as good as the raps were, as good as the beats were, I feel like I probably could have taken your vocal from the other two, and put them on other beats, right?
Right.
Not to say that there wasn't a marriage there, but I'm like, all right, I could probably take this vocal and put it under 20 different beats.
Right.
And it will still sound good. But with that one, there was a lot that was happening to what the drums was doing and what your vocal performance was the way you were flowing with the drums, the way you were in that pocket. You know, we call it a syncopation, when you know the drums is doing one thing, the bass is doing something, and then another. You know, all the elements, all the pieces of the puzzle are rhythmically coming together, where it sounds like y'all wrote it together and planned that, but you really didn't. Like, he made the beat, you wrote the rhyme, and I'm like, wait a minute, no, this is literally like, this is what we do in the studio for real. Like, you know, we try to create that syncopation. So that, going back to the intro, it was kind of the same thing. You were in lock and step with what the drums was doing. And like I said, musically, I love the chord progression. I'm a sucker for a good chord progression. So that's my favorite.
Though, and the crazy part is that wasn't even going to make the tape. Like, I told her we was going to keep that one off of it. He like the intro. I'm like, all right, maybe we could put it at the end as the outro, because it's the same with the way the commercial went, like the way the beat was. But it was like challenging me, where I had to come off with like different pockets and flows, where it's like you literally creating a new flow. Like, this not something you could be like sound like this or that.
And that's what I mean about sometimes you can't just take a vocal and put it on another beat.
Right.
Because the way you put it together, like you said, you were challenged to accommodate what was happening musically. And you pulled something out of yourself you didn't know you had. You know what I mean? Because all of a sudden it was a matter of, oh, the flow is doing this now, let me adapt. Oh, the flow is doing this, let me adapt. You know, but again, that's syncopation. That's magic. And not everybody's even capable of understanding that concept. Like, some people may do it not knowing that they're doing it.
Right.
But once you understand the concept of syncopation, whether or not you know the definition, but you at least understand the actual concept. You know, like a lot of MCs, they don't know the technical terms of music.
Right.
A lot of, you know, myself as a musician, you know, you start talking about minor fifths and major sevenths, and I'm just saying, like, yo, I don't know, but I know this sounds good. You know what I mean? Like, I all that technical jargon, I don't know. So what that says to me is that, you know, whether or not you even understand the technicalities behind what you're doing as an MC, you're doing them.
Appreciate it, man.
And that's you're doing them already by instinct. That's what I mean. You know, even if you don't necessarily know the ones and zeros of it, you're doing it on instinct, and ultimately that's all you really need. Like, I'm on what, 20 years, 2021, 2001, 23, 24 years that I've been making records. Right. And it's all been on instinct, you know, for better or worse, you know, so that's it.
That's dope, man.
That's dope, man. Man, just based on that fact, man, I feel so lucky, because like any lyricist could have came through there and just been scared of my beat. So I lucked out with the draw, man.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like, because there was a big internal debate, like, who do we get? Like, because it's not just, it's deeper than just, is this an MC that we like or not? You got to remember, in that instance, you're representing not one, but two multi-billion-dollar corporations, right? So everybody has to be vetted on every level. It's not just, are you talented? It's what image do you project to the public? And you know, what might the public think of you when you're on that platform. You know what I mean?
Right.
So the luck, and my point in saying that is the luck of the draw goes even deeper than just they brought you a good MC. It's a good MC who probably doesn't even realize how many background checks he went through. You know what I mean? Like,
just blaze at 6 months. We did it in 6 weeks. Laying these tracks to rest, they thinking, when do we get sleep? Keep it a stack, my favorite letter.